Hello and welcome. This is How to Finish a Cherry Dresser, episode 2, where we're working on our cherry dresser. As you can see, I've got it up here on the bench, and on its side, I've got the back removed, the drawers removed, and I'm ready to go to work. So I'm starting this piece. I'm going to work from the inside out. I'm working on the inside because, as you can see, there's no drawer slides. Our drawer dividers. These are the wooden drawer slides on either side of the case. And in order to make our drawers function as smoothly as possible, we're going to apply a finish. And the finish, so my runners here are maple, where the front divider is cherry and the back divider is also maple. They're already very well sanded, nice and smooth. But what I'm going to do on them is apply a couple of coats of shellac, and then I'll wax it. But because the drawers also are in contact with the inside walls, I'm going to do the same to that. So I'm going to begin by lightly sanding. These are already really smooth. These have already been sanded, so they're really smooth. But I'm going to lightly sand these sides all the way around to include the bottom. Any surface that a drawer is potentially in contact with, I'm going to lightly sand, apply shellac, and then eventually wax. All right, so I'm going to get started sanding these out to 220. All of these surfaces. We'll sand everything at 220. All right, here we go. Okay, so you may be asking yourself, why in the heck am I worried about sanding and finishing the inside other than to make it super smooth? Wood is alive, right? It absorbs and releases moisture depending on atmospheric conditions. Well, I wouldn't put a number on the percentage, but the vast majority of furniture maker finishers don't do anything to the inside of the cabinets. Your commercial, they don't do anything in here. They might, as they're spraying. A lot of shops spray their furniture. They may hit it with some finish for color reasons, but they're not worried about sealing it up. So they do what they do. They do what they do. I'm going to do what I do. And I believe that any finish that I apply to one surface, I should apply to all surfaces so that moisture gain and release is equal. Because even when this thing is fully closed, air is getting in here, and the air contains moisture. So any surface that is exposed to the air is going to be exposed to moisture. So that's kind of the second reason why I'm taking the time to finish this interior. Obviously, I'm not going to stain it, and I'm not going to put an oil on it, but I am going to get it sealed with that shellac. All right, time to flip and repeat.
Secret. So before Chuckina came along, you made some decisions before you found Jesus Christ and were washed in the blood.
Yes, well, and I knew Jesus, but I turned away.
Now you have turned away.
I was at the University of Tennessee. He didn't leave me. I loved him, and I single him because I love Parks and Recreation.
Right.
The office, and I've always loved sitcoms. I love WKRP in Cincinnati,
Yeah, sure.
Frazier, Cheers, all that. But I wondered, is this gonna be too old-timey looking? And I don't know. And they go, if you will do a multi-cam, weekends of that, I'll shoot 2 weeks on. Oh my God, I will go to clubs around Southern California and you're gonna start looking things out.
Wow.
Okay, so I have finished sanding both sides and the top. I paid particular attention on the top, trying to remove any blemishes that I could find. I've got one more right here, just a tiny blemish, and I'll sand that out again, 220. But the process was, with the orbital sander, I took off all of the machine marks or any tool marks that were on here. Cleaned it off. I used the vacuum a bit, and then I used those blue paper towels to get as much of the dust out of the pores that I possibly could. Resanded with that orbital sander where needed. Cleaned it again, and then with a damp cloth, I simply moistened the surface to raise the grain. I let that completely dry, and then came back and hand sanded with 220 to get rid of any possible swirl marks, and of course that grain that got raised. Fortunately, there really wasn't a whole lot, but this is exceptionally smooth now. So I've got that one tiny blemish there to work on, but right now I'm going to focus on my profile. And unfortunately, as is the nature of cherry, if you pause or hesitate at all when cutting cherry, it's going to burn. And apparently I paused a couple of times. So for this profile, the radius on the top profile is 5/16. I don't have a 5/16 dowel, so I'll just do extra work with a 1/4 inch dowel. Wrap it in my sandpaper here and just go to town. Smoothing it out and removing the burn marks. And then I'll work on, what is that, convex, I think is outside. I'll work on that profile. Again, getting rid of the tool mark and any of the burns that might be on here. When I get down here to the end grain, I'll be working against the grain for a bit, but then I'll finish up and go, with the grain to get rid of the sanding marks. So that's where I'm at. Okay, so today I'm just going to start by finishing the last sanding process, or last sanding step, which is just to hit the top and bottoms of these dividers, as well as just gently, I'm going to soften these right now really sharp edges across all of the face. Something to remember is part of our sanding process, right? We're going to start with orbital sander 220 to remove all of our tool marks. While you're doing that sanding, kind of keep, I've got mine connected to a shop vac, so it does a pretty good job of preventing the sanding pad from getting caked full of sawdust. One of the things that causes swirl marks when we're sanding is the paper itself. That's a clean one. That's a clean one. As the sanding pads get loaded with sawdust, oftentimes that's what's going to cause your swirl marks. So keeping this clean, check it occasionally and make sure that it's clean. If it's not, you can peel it off. Oftentimes you can just flick it, right, and clean it up, put it back on, and continue. So keeping those, clean is important. If you sand once and it looks like you need to sand again, well, take the time to clean off all that sawdust. Clean off as much as you can. I run the blue paper towel. I'll go through 2 or 3 sheets of those blue paper towels, and I get it as clean as I can, you know, so as I'm wiping across my last pass, it's coming out clean before I jump into sanding again, because that also helps you identify, you know, getting all of that off first helps you identify areas that you need to concentrate on, not work, you know, you don't want to work in one spot heavily because you'll create a dip. But it'll give you a good visual and a good feel of what you got left to do. All right, so orbital sander, clean it off, sand again if you need to, moisten the surface to raise the grain, hand sand that off, eliminating any of your swirl mark, any possible swirl marks, and you know, get going with the grain, just to make sure we've got everything as perfect as we can get it. Clean that off, right? And inspect your work. Make sure that you're happy with it before we move on to the next step. All right, so hey, if you like this video, please remember to hit that like button. Helps me help others. We'll see you down the road.